Americans woke up on Friday morning to find our President of the United States, Donald Trump, threatening war against the country of Iran. This, of course, comes as the United States is also threatening war against Venezuela and, of course, bombing off and on Nigeria. But this threat against war with Iran also comes about a week or so after Donald Trump had met with Benjamin Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago, where, among other things, the two of them discussed the problems that are happening in Iran. Iran has maintained that Benjamin Netanyahu has in fact been pushing for regime change in the country for quite some time, and Donald Trump saw the perfect opportunity to threaten such a thing on Friday morning. Iran recently experienced a sudden and catastrophic drop in the value of its currency. This drop has led to mass civil unrest and protests breaking out across the country. Now, the government of Iran has not been overly kind to protesters, something that those of us in the United States are well aware of after the last year with Donald Trump. So, Donald Trump got on social media Friday morning and said this: "If Iran shots..." Now, we're going to stop after that third word because he meant shoots. Shoots, not shots. You know, I get it. Spelling can be hard. Sometimes there's one O, sometimes there's two O's in a word. But I would expect that the President of the United States, arguably the most powerful person on the planet, would know the difference between shot and shoot. Anyway, if Iran shots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. Sound familiar? We have to protect the citizens of this Middle Eastern country from an oppressive regime. We can't have peaceful, average, everyday citizens who are just exercising their rights be held down under the thumb of a brutal dictatorship. It was the justification we used against Iraq in the early 2000s under the George W. Bush administration. And suddenly, Donald Trump himself cares about human rights violations in Middle Eastern countries. Which is weird because we seem to be best buddies with Saudi Arabia that literally lops off people's heads if they don't like what they put on Twitter. But that's okay. You know, you can take a journalist, dismember him, and Donald Trump will just say, we didn't like that guy anyway. Good for you. But Iran, if they even think about roughing up protesters, we're going to go in and engage in regime change because, of course, that is what Netanyahu wants the U.S. to do. Now, here's the thing. For the past year, we have seen protesters here in the United States tear gassed, hit with rubber bullets, hit with real bullets, beaten and brutalized by members of the government. Right? ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, FBI. So the very thing that Donald Trump says warrants regime change in Iran has been happening in this country for a year. Nonstop. We've seen the footage. We have seen Pam Bondi try to prosecute the people that get brutally attacked by federal agents. She's failed, luckily. But I certainly hope no other countries out there are looking at the United States and saying, if the United States doesn't stop beating up the protesters and if they violently kill any of them, we'll be locked and loaded and ready to go, like Trump said to Iran. Because after all, if that is in fact grounds for regime change in another country, why is it not grounds for regime change here in the United States? Why is it okay for Trump to do it and it's not okay for other governments to do it to their people? Answer me that question, folks. We all know the answer. It's not. But this administration is so hypocritical, so myopic, and they think you are so dumb that you're not going to notice that Trump is threatening other countries for doing what his administration has been doing for the last 12 months. Have you, or someone you know, ever had your identity stolen, been a victim of fraud, or been hacked, scammed, doxxed? How does it make you feel that so much of your information is available for anyone to purchase? That's why I recommend today's sponsor, Aura, to my family and friends. Aura protects your privacy by identifying data brokers who are selling your information. Aura takes care of the hard part, automatically removing your information from these sites and, most importantly, keeping it off. There are a lot of services that offer this too, but none of them offer as many features as Aura, and for the same price. Aura is all-in-one digital security. You may already have a digital security tool, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked, but then leaving the back door wide open. You get alerts if your personal information is found on the dark web. They provide real-time fraud alerts for both credit and banking. They have 24/7 monitoring to help keep your identity secure. They provide a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, you name it. And they have US-based support available around the clock if something does go wrong. And if anything does happen, Aura includes $5 million in identity theft insurance protection. And they have US fraud experts that are ready to help you 24/7. It's one app that provides every layer of protection. I don't want to leave myself vulnerable online, and you shouldn't either. And that's why I personally use Aura. Try it for yourself. Go to aura.com/Farron to try 14 days for free. That's enough time for Aura to start scrubbing your personal information off these data broker sites without you having to lift a finger.